First video with my new hair. And then we're going to be talking about the full moon in Aries, and we're also going to be touching on today, we have like 3 months left for the end of the year, and so what are we going to do about it? Let's get into this episode. This full moon is going to be touching on accelerating your confidence. Aries, as we know, is such a confident sign. It's a bold sign. It moves forward quickly. It takes action. It takes inspired action, and it just gets things done. That's why it's a cardinal sign. And we also need to remember when the moon is in Aries, we're going to have heightened emotions. But we're not going to have heightened softer emotions. We're going to get heightened, more aggressive emotions. Everything's going to be a little bit more like when it comes to Aries. It's a little bit more fire. So when we have a full moon in Aries, what we need to be looking at is how we can use that aggression, that power, that stance, and alchemize it into something else. Because when there's a fire sign in the moon, it's allowing us to just have a look at like, how can we react to our situations differently? Because we're going to be triggered in a certain way. Full moons are very, very heightened times of emotion. And especially when it's in a fire sign as well, it's just a lot more grunt to it. So one thing that I'll remember is use that alchemizing energy from the anger, from the passion, from anything that you could potentially be triggered by. People are going to annoy you during this time. People are going to piss you off. You're going to find out shit. You're going to be faced with things. You're like, what the fuck is this person doing? And what we're going to do, we're going to move it into something more practical and something that we can actually work with. The sun is currently in Libra, and we do have obviously a direct opposing is Aries. What we can do is bring both signs into play. So when there's a sun in a certain sign, the other sign will come in as well. Because remember, everything that one sign has, the other sign doesn't. But when they come together, they create an amazing union, which is why they have this sort of push and pull, but they can work together really, really amazingly. However, both signs can also have really, really similar traits as well. So if you notice that both signs, especially Libra and Aries, they are very good signs at getting things done. They start things, they get things moving, they're working, they're amazing. Aries just has a bit more grunt to it, and Libra has a little bit more, let's look at things from a wider perspective, and let's look at a little bit of a diplomacy here. So when the moon is opposing the sun, it's illuminating two things. The moon is showing us what we need to be looking at, how we need to be looking at it, and it's obviously going to be heightening a lot of emotions because we know that the moon is emotional. Whereas like the sun is illuminating the time, a place that we're existing in this certain point of time, which could be like the whole month of what that sun, the sun is in. And it's going, okay, while we have this season happening right now, where can this moon fit into our lives too? So I always like to look at both ends of the scale. I also like to make note that whatever you have going on in your life right now, where the moon is sitting will take into effect of what's going on as well. So wherever the moon is going to be sitting in your chart, and I'll do a little like TikTok, Instagram video, I'll show you guys where the moon is sitting in your chart. I can't talk today. Where the moon is going to be sitting in your chart for your rising sign, and you'll just see where it's going to be taking effect for you mainly. This particular moon is called the harvest moon. Now, the harvest moon is also known as reaping what we have sowed, harvesting, for the past 6 months. 6 months, meaning from the start of the astrological year, which was in Aries. So we need to be looking at how much we have cultivated during this time. What have we brought in? What have we done? How have we done it? Let's have a really big look at it, because Aries is about getting things done. What have we been doing? Also, we have 3 months left to the end of the year. What are we going to do about that? But I'll get into that at the later part of the video. What I do want to focus on now is the astrological placements of this present time, and what else do we have going on? Because we currently have Uranus square Venus, and Uranus square Venus is a sign. I'm laughing because it's like so dramatic. Uranus is dramatic. It just does whatever it wants. It's radical change. It is shape shifting. It's honestly on its own path at all times. When it's squared Venus, this also can correlate closely to your relationships. There could be drastic changes during this time in your relationships. There could be a drastic change in the way that you look at relationships, and you might invest in something a little bit wild. You might do something a little bit crazy. I'm not saying people might break up. I'm not saying that, you're going to be going into something wild, but just things may change. You may even tend to look at things a little bit differently during this time as well, because of the radical shift that Uranus has on the whole placement as well. So as we know that the ruler of Aries is Mars. So Mars gets a really big play here. Mars is like, I'm fucking here, bitches. Like, I'm rolling, I'm in. But Mars is actually right now squaring Pluto during this time. During the time of the full moon. It'll be close to the point to, like, when the moon comes out, which is on the 29th, but I'm filming this on the 28th. But remember, when the moon is when Mars is squaring Pluto, it is two big power boys at play, because Pluto is the leader of the underworld, loves power, has a lot of power struggles, but he alchemizes the power and brings it out from the shadows, and you can use it to something even better than what you had before. Whereas Mars is just go, 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 power, aggression, forward thinking, blah, 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 all that sort of thing. So when they're matched together in a square-like aspect, it's honestly explosive. Massively explosive. So also remember, both of those planets have high sexual energy. Mars is all about sexual energy, and Pluto is a lot about sexual energy as well. So both of those together are going to create some serious fireworks within you and any potential relationships that you may have. Also, you might be feeling just like a little bit extra frisky during this time. Go for it safely. With consent, obviously above board. But you may be feeling a little bit more like, let's just fucking get things going, you know? But Mars is sitting in Libra. So Libra is not the greatest sign for Mars to be in, because Mars can kind of tend to be a little bit more passive aggressive when it's a sign like Libra, because Libra is quite a soft sign, so it's not as quite powerful, even though the aspects at the moment are making it quite strong. Just remember that Libra, it can tend to be a little bit more of a passive aggressive sign when it is angry. However, don't knock them, because have you seen a Libra when they're mad? It gives Aries energy. Like what I said before, signs can display two of the same attributes, even though they're opposite. So even though Libra, like Mars being in Libra, is a little bit difficult, a little bit harder for it to get through, you can still have that passion and still have that drive. But Libra is a relationship-oriented sign. This specific moon is very like relationship-oriented, especially with Venus and Uranus square. You've got the, oh my God, I'm losing my words right now. The Pluto and Mars square. Mars is in Libra. So think about it, it's very relationship focused, very tense, very aggressive, but also a little bit passive aggressive. But the moon is really kind of just pushing that forward. It's really kind of bringing everything out to the surface. So like I said, it might have induced irrational thinking, but we can use this to alchemize into something more productive. Sometimes Aries does not think in a productive way. It just goes, which is great. That's why it's the start of the zodiac. It gets things started, and everything, all the other signs later on think about it, pick up the pieces, fix it up, organize it, whatever. But where can we move that power energy into something that we can use in a more productive way? And reminder of all the other placements going on in the chart right now and how it's going to affect you in your life as well. But what I will do is, like I said, I will put all of the rising signs and where the moon is going to be sitting in your chart. But remember, there's a lot of other things at play right now that's going to really amp you up. Everything's going to get a little hot and heavy. I'm just going to say, this is going to get hot and heavy. Now, as we are moving into October, in a few days' time, this is the last quarter of the year. We have 3 months left to achieve what we want to achieve. Now, I know that a lot of you are thinking, oh my God, like I haven't really done much, but just take a really good hard look at all the things that you have done from the start of the year. Use a harvest moon to do that. I know it's only a 6-month harvest, but use a whole year. What have you been doing this whole year? Have you made huge changes? Are you still the same person that you were at the start of the year? I'm definitely not. I'm so not. But what have we done? What have we cultivated? What have we moved into? What lessons have we learned? What things have we overcome? What have we lost? What have we gained? There's so much to look at. This has been such a transformative year. This has been such an amazing year. Astrologically, it has been difficult in some ways. I don't think it's been as difficult as other years previously, but I think this year is a huge, huge awakening. And I think a lot of people have really come out of their shell during this year. So even if you feel like on paper, you may not have done a whole lot, you may have done so much internal growth. It hasn't been as much of a struggle to grow this year. It hasn't been as much of a struggle to get information, to find things out, to find your tribe, to find your light. And if you're still finding your way, that's okay. There's so much time left, like pretty much the whole of eternity. that you live here to find out your way. And that's exactly what you're here for, is to learn and to grow. And there's just so many people out there. There's so many things accessible for you right now to be able to cultivate you more into yourself, which is quite wonderful. So what I propose to you, what I suggest that you might do, what I invite you to do, is take a really good look at who you were at the start of the year. Maybe the first 3 months, because January, February can be a little bit like, holiday season. And look at the phase that you were in then. What kind of person were you? What kind of person were you through that like second part of the year, through that second quarter of the year, and then the third quarter? And notice the changes that you have made. Notice the growth that you've cultivated, because I could dare say you've probably done quite a bit of work. And if you have done any physical work, if you have gone into the role that you wanted to, if you started to achieve the goals, if you started to really grasp that soul yearning that you've got and run with it, amazing. I love that for you. But I want you to have a look at that. Even if you do feel like you have been lagging behind, you haven't. You have been moving. Because if you're watching this video, it's likely that you're really interested in this sort of stuff anyway. And it's likely that you have been doing your own soul growth as well. So take a big look at it. Also, what changes? What did you want to be at the end of the year? Who did you want to become by the end of December? And what things can you still do to get there? How can you still put things into practice? Are there still some fear-based beliefs that you're leaving behind, like that's still lingering with you? Can you leave them behind? Can you work through them? Is there things that have been holding you back still? Have you still got some sort of karmic ties to something from your past life, something from this life that just continuously holds you back? Are you able to let those go? Are you able to find even someone who will help you let those go? There is so many people who are expanding with their gifts right now. I've got so many friends around me who are just like, their gifts are just falling into their lap. And it's beautiful to see, because when we move into the new stages of the new earth, that's what we're going to be doing. Sharing our gifts with each other, helping each other with our own unique talents. That is the beauty of what's going on right now. And if you are joining us in the new earth, you are moving into the 5D, if you are accelerating, you're going to be a part of that as well. And you will have a unique gift that you will be able to also give to the world. But I say, use things to your advantage. There is so many beautiful healers, coaches, mentors, people with beautiful, beautiful gifts that will be able to kind of help you cultivate all of that and even help you release things. We have so many things that we're still holding on to. There's so much of the world that still has darkness. But what's your choice? Are you going to move out of that? Are you going to move into something more positive? And I'm not saying in a way of disregarding what's going on, but I think what we can do is focus on the people that we really actually want to be. Because I have said this before in previous videos, how many times do we need to sit and watch everything that's dark going on without focusing on ourselves and what's going on within us? Be the change that you want to see. Be the person that you want to be. You don't know how many people you're going to be inspiring later on. You don't know how many people that are going to see you for a moment in their day. You're going to say something that's going to ignite their day, and it's going to be a complete ripple effect. You don't know how much you can affect another person's day just by being you. And it's really, really important to remember that. It's really important to focus on that. Even if things are a little bit stagnant at the moment, we are moving into eclipse season, which I will touch on. It starts on October 14th. And that is going to be also a way we're going to be really looking at like how we can be the best, most authentic version of ourselves without giving ourselves away too much, which is what Libra can tend to do. But I will get into that in another video when I do make it closer to the eclipse season. But let's wrap this up. Aries full moon, dynamic, powerful, emotionally charged. We've got the 2 squares, Pluto, Mars, hot, aggressive, sexy. We've got Uranus and Venus, radical change, radical differences in relationships. Things are going to be shifting. A lot of things are moving. The planets are always supporting you. The planets always support you. When you look at your chart, and I've said this before, when you look at your chart, you'll see the story that it writes out for you. It gives you the tools that you need to help. And you need to help you to move forward, and it will use that, alchemize it, put it in your own words, put your own spin on it, put your own flavor on it. It's all you, and move forward with it. I hope you really enjoyed that episode. I'm kind of like, maybe it's the moon, maybe I know what's going on, but I can't really get my words out today. So I hope everything made sense. I'm just blasting this. No script, I've just written down a couple of things, which is not what I normally do anyway. But I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. Let me know, like it, subscribe, connect with me, because why not?